All right. Welcome to episode 3 Wide After Dark. I'm Justin Kolb, along with Corey Lindsay, the team owner that didn't get dumped this week. All right, yeah, Corey.
Yo, what up?
Hey, what up?
We have Race Clark, a.k.a. the Intimidator.
Hey, what up?
And then we got Drew Eisman, who saw it all this week.
That's what you get. A view from the back, my friend.
Amen. Sometimes the view from the back is the best view. Am I right, Race?
Hey, hell yeah. I love that view.
All right. All right, good deal. So why don't we jump right into it? Super late models. That was something.
Super late models were fun. They were fast, really good on the high side, but also good on the low side. Just a good old fun car.
You know, I probably should have mentioned that for those who don't know anything about anything, it was Bristol weekend, aka the best weekend in all of racing. It's Bistro, Bobby. So, yeah. All right. So with that, let's continue. Super late models. I think it was a lot of downforce, and after a few laps, at least if you drove it wrong like me, you couldn't control it after that. So that was fun.
Yeah, I just kind of chose to not do it because I didn't want to murder my brain with Bristol because I don't, as we covered in the last episode, I don't love the track. So I had the fantastic Jordan Teal fill in for me in the 77.
Oh, that's right.
Car. And he did a good job, gotten a couple wrecks, but it was cool to see him back in the league. He's trying to get back into it more as he kind of gets settled with his new situation in life as he's kind of moving back home. So that was really cool. And other than that, I don't know. It was a little chaotic. Looked fun. I don't think I could have done. That would have been 400 laps of Bristol in 2 nights, and I just don't have. Yeah. Oh no, not quite. Like close to 300, I guess. I can't do math. I'm a liberal arts major. Okay, come on now with the math. All right.
Fair enough.
But it was a good race. But yeah, I don't know how the car drives. I can't really comment on that.
Well, there's someone who did race in it, and his mic is muted right now. Race Clark, a.k.a. the Intimidator. That was fun.
That was really fun. It was really just fun to race up front. I was behind Tanner at the start. He was leading, and he messed up, hit the wall, dropped back, and I led for a little bit. And that was a lot of fun. And I thought, I felt fast compared to who was up there until I saw Gruenberg up in my rearview mirror after 20 laps. I was like, oh, okay, I see. He wins. Good job. But other than that, had a good time. Me and Kevin were back and forth. Me and even Richard was up there. Richard Hines, shout out. It was a good time. It was just genuine fun. I'll say it.
Hell yeah. Corey, you had some fun. I
Yeah,
bet.
did I?
I don't know. Did you?
I must have. I don't know. A little bit. I thought the Super Late model was a lot more fun to drive than the National car was.
Mm-hmm.
I got 7th, I think, which is, I don't know, that's okay. I thought that car, it was definitely better as far as trying to run the low line, which I think is good. That's something that you kind of need.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the race overall, it was pretty good. I mean, we had, I think it was 5 cautions and 125 laps at Bristol. I'll take that. It's a lot better than what we got Monday night. But overall, it was good. I'm excited to get to the next one, and then the next one after that would be the one that I'm looking forward to more. It'd be Laner.
Heck yeah. I will say, yeah, that car was definitely more fun to drive overall, just because the bottom lane was a thing. My favorite part was when I apparently drove it wrong towards the end there, and then had no tires left. And once you had no tires left, you could not cool them down, and you were just along for the ride. So I went from 4th to 8th in about 3 laps, and got very upset afterwards. So that was fun. But yeah. Singing over their race?
No. That was my Bluetooth turned off. My apologies. Always going to have some kind of interruption.
There you go, right? If it was screaming for me last week, it's Bluetooth for you this week. But yeah. I mean, with the bottom line, we can transition into the national race, because, I mean, nothing really happened in the super late model race. I honestly don't even remember who won, and I'm definitely not cheating right now to take a look at who did.
It was Matt.
It was Matt.
Yeah, Matt Grunberg won the Super
Okay,
Late Model race. Yeah, he was zooming past everybody on the low line. He
Oh,
was
that's
Mega
right.
fast.
That's
Yeah.
like 4
yeah.
or 6 seconds ahead of the second place car.
That's right. Yeah, we're recording this a little late than we usually do, so my memory is not as good as it would be on a Wednesday. That's right. I remember him just. I think I was fighting with. I don't remember who it was, and he was just taking off. I may have been you actually, Race, and then Matt
Yeah, I seriously think
just took off.
when you were behind me is when I was feeling confident. I thought, I might have a chance to win. And I saw Matt just wrapping the bottom, covered up like 10 positions and like 20 laps. I was like, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, from the bottom lane in the super late model to a one groove racetrack in the national, that was quite a bit of fun, and I use the term fun loosely.
Dude.
Loose
Besides all
fun,
the-
man. There's nothing better than that.
There was, I mean, sometimes there was at points in that race where you saw people trying to just desperately use that bottom. But there was at one point in that race where everybody just gave up and was wrapping the top, both in front of me and I looked behind me. Everybody was on the top. It just, even SimTV asked me about it. It just wasn't happening. I mean, I tried it a few times. I think I may have gotten past Richard. I know I got past Tanner that way for the lead, but that was kind of just I think he entered the corner awkwardly. But that bottom lane was just not happening, and it made for some interesting racing and some a lot of yellow flags.
Yeah, it was really fun. It really was. Besides the pace, I mean, there was a lot of accidents, but it's like everybody was kind of understanding of where they're coming from. I got caught up in like the very first one. Chad got in the back of somebody, and it was already just so loose on edge, and I just kind of washed down the racetrack, and I got caught in it. And then I don't know, I forgot how I got caught in something else. Oh, that's right. Me and Drew were side by side, and then somebody got tied off of one of the corners, and then we ended up being 3 wide. And then unfortunately, I was on the bottom of that and like entered the next turn like real low, like pretty much was clipping the apron, got loose out of the corner, and then wrecked into Richard Hines himself. But fortunately, in a way, he was already wrecked out, so it wasn't a big deal. But I ended up going like 7 laps down, and that's pretty much the story of the rest of my night. But I had a lot of fun. It was really hard, but really fun, very rewarding.
That's what she said. I'm pretty sure there was at one point during that race where we were racing side by side, and then I think it was off turn 2. You kind of just lost it, and I felt really bad. I don't know if that was but
I had one pretty big. I only had 2 big moments. The one where I got Richard, and it might have been with you. I did get loose. That's the one where I saved it, and I was like, "Hey, check this out." But yeah, other than that, it was just kind of cruising around. I couldn't ever get the lucky dog because just 5, 6, 7 laps of green at Bristol. There's a new lap down car, and when you're 7 laps down, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I actually kind of, I mean, maybe not so much counter to race, but counter to Corey. I thought the K&N car was fantastic around Bristol. You could really use the throttle to turn the car. You could, I don't know, it's something that I haven't experienced in a lot of the stock car packages recently, where you turn the car with the throttle. Sometimes, I mean, it was still a little tight entry through center, but whatever. You could at least, as I experienced in the race, get it a little loose off, and it was pretty fun. I felt like there was quite a bit of good racing, including between me and Race, and I think it wasn't nearly kind of as dominated by any one car as the late model was, super late model was, right?
Yeah,
Like it seemed like Grunberg had it kind of figured out for the SLM, but in the Cup car, it just kind of there were a few guys that kind of stayed up front, but it seemed like it rotated between a few, which I thought was really good for the series.
Definitely. And just to add on that real quick, like you said, I mean that's been the first time in quite a while where we've had names where I won't say you normally don't see them up front, but with all the other names that you have up front just dominating the show every week, it was kind of refreshing to see that. And to add on your point as well about the drivability of the cars, that was one thing I noticed, and I think I may have said this in our chat, Corey, where you could actually, like you said, Drew, drive it off with the throttle, which was, for one, kind of... I know you couldn't really do it at Auto Club, but to see you be able to do it here was kind of refreshing. to see that you actually had some sort of control in the car. And then once you finally figured out, I guess, how to enter the corners, because those corners were kind of tricky for the first couple times you got on track. It seemed like if you didn't enter it right, you were going for a loop, and that was kind of the same way on the bottom. So that was fun. So I'll stop talking now and hand it off to Corey. Maybe not.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
I liked it. I liked how the. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay.
Oh, I don't hear you anymore.
Okay. I don't know what's going on with my internet,
Okay.
but
I hear you.
yeah, I liked how you could like Drew said, I liked how you could turn using the throttle. I I don't know. It's just so difficult to try to find something positive from that. I really like green flag racing, and when you have 10 cautions and 150 laps, you don't get much of that. I understand it's Bristol and all, but it's just tough, man. It's tough for me to want to get out there and actually start racing. I was hanging out that entire time. I wasn't trying to do much at all, and I don't know, man. It was just hanging out, running laps, waiting for the next caution, and then waiting for the next one, then waiting for the next one. And
Yeah.
that kind of just buzz killed my race. And I hope we can get that fixed for Milwaukee.
I think that's absolutely a fair point. Like if you compare, I think with the car that we ran at Bristol, I mean, there's not really a historical precedent to reconfigure Bristol with this style of car. But I mean, they typically average 20 cautions per 500-mile races, right? I don't think we were too far off of that. We were a little bit because we only ran 150 and we had about 10 cautions, right? Close.
Yep.
Yep. So I mean, we're a little closer to that, but it's also sim racing. Like, look at what look at what the real drivers did in like the big stuff that's broadcast, right? Like it was a total. I'll censor myself this time. Poop show for the real guys, right? Like we're trying to make this, yeah, as race. I'm just trying to be presentable here, but I think that like that kind of is the sim racing thing. I think it's always hard to compare that to real life, but I think that like it wasn't abhorrent. There were a couple guys that I think, dude, I brought it up last week, right? That like, is this worth staying in the throttle on lap 75 of 150 when this guy's trying to clear me off the corner? That's up to the individual to decide. And if they decide, yes, it's worth it, it's worth a crash, then that's what they're going to do. And that's what we kind of saw on Monday night. But I thought the racing itself, like I raced a bunch of guys a lot. And I like Brent Miller, man, I had a great race with him at the end of the race. And it was clean. And like neither of us kind of, raced the other guy dirty. And I had a blast because of that. And Corey, you were involved in that as well. And yeah. I like there were some unfortunate, like, dude, I caused a wreck. Like I thought I was good and I throttled up off the corner and all of a sudden it kicked to the right. And then I surfed on top of a car like Laird Hamilton, just chilling right at the crest of a wave.
Yes, you're on over them.
It was beautiful, right? Like I've never done that before. And then I smacked the inside wall and I kept going and I got my damage fixed and I was back on the pace. Which is, it's bistro, Bobby, but it was, I had a lot of fun despite, people not giving enough, but that's Bristol.
Yeah, it was equivalent to what we, see in the past. We even see in real life, but still, nonetheless, it was unfortunate. But they got to get that damage model fixed, man. There's so many people, so many situations that people should have been out of the race, but they just go into the pits, they get their damage fixed, and they have a brand new car.
I was one of them.
If
yeah,
that's
I agree.
something that they're aware about iRacing, but that needs to be adjusted ASAP. I know they did some type of build today, but they probably should have had that build out, 2 weeks ago. An update at least,
Yeah, I will say they also should fix the if they're fixing damage models with that car, they should probably fix the where once you're on pit road, once you stop in your box, the car shouldn't shut off. But that's just
yes,
that's just something.
Dude, yeah,
small.
trying to beat the pace car off.
But it needs to be fixed.
trying to beat the pace car off, getting my damage fixed, I noticed that like I would just push in the clutch, dump the clutch, push in the throttle like over and over again to get the car to not bog down. I didn't experience the thing that you had described at Auto Club, but I definitely did at Bristol, where I had to wait like 2 to 3 seconds for the car just to leave my pit box. It was very frustrating.
Yeah, it definitely shouldn't be where as soon as you hit your box, you have to be, if you are using buttons and stuff, you have to be reaching for that ignition switch to turn the car back on when you didn't even turn it off in the first place. I don't know who decided that was a thing or who decided that should be a thing, but they should no longer be at iRacing. I will just say that because I mean, especially especially at a track like Bristol, when you don't have any time to repair your car, that's not something you should be worrying about. You should be worrying about, can I fix this damage and get back out? Is the car going to be the same? Not when you hit the pit box, oh, I need to worry about starting the car back up when you only have really 30 seconds to fix your car before you have to get going again for the pace car to beat, or you got to beat it off. I mean, I don't know if that's too much to ask, but that's something that you should not have to worry about.
Preach, brother. Preach.
This dude needs to be on unemployment.
Not unemployment. I mean, he should at least be brought in.
Times, let's not preach for firings, right? But
No.
but let's fix that. Let's address that. That feels like an easy fix, right?
Yeah.
Like that. It has never been that way before. So let's just, I don't know, roll that part of the car back.
I know every time that I entered my pit stall, I would just hit my ignition switch, just like it was just something you had to pick up, and it's a habit that you're gonna have to learn to do if they don't get that fixed.
But that's something that you shouldn't have to worry about. And I mean, people who don't have those buttons, it's like it's whatever to them, I know. But for someone like you, me, Drew, maybe Race, I don't know if he uses buttons, but I mean, it's something that when you're in the heat of battle, that's not something that you should have to keep in the back of your mind. What you should keep in the back of your mind is having to worry about pitch speed, not going through too many boxes, even though that wasn't a factor on Monday. Worrying about how much damage can I get fixed right now. That shouldn't even be a thought in your mind.
No, it shouldn't with the quality that iRacing likes to tout that they provide, right? Like that shouldn't be like this. This isn't like EA Sports NASCAR Thunder 2004. Like we are paying a good premium in my eyes, a worthwhile premium for a very high quality product for 99% of the cars and tracks and stuff that are out there. Like this shouldn't be a problem. I agree.
And I mean, I guess you could make the argument that it's not a big car, so it's like, what's the big deal about it? They probably
It's a
don't
guinea
have...
pig.
I mean,
it is.
In a sense, it is, because it was the first oval to get the new damage model. It may have been the first oval car to get the new tire model as well. So, I mean,
I think it was, yeah.
For a guinea pig, though, I mean, something like that probably should have been picked up. Yeah, it should have been picked up, honestly, within the first few minutes, and that probably shouldn't have even gone out to the public, if I'm being quite frank. All right.
I mean, you said it.
Moving on.
Race was you were like, I thought you were gonna say something. But,
nothing else to say to that.
Yeah. But yeah. So yeah. Underdogs. On Monday. We kind of mentioned it already with the people in the lead, where you don't normally talk about them too often because of just the amount of people that you have up front so consistently. But how about Kevin Finn, man? I mean,
I
wasn't too happy with him because he kind of shoved me off on pit road. I gave him too much space and I got a penalty for it. But I mean, overall though, still to be able to beat, he already knows, but it was one of those things where like I was upset to myself, but it was okay because then we got a caution, everybody pitted, and I got right back up there, so it was whatever. But I mean, for him to beat, the Matt Gruenbergs, the who else was up there? Justin Gable, I think, to beat. I mean, Justin Gable's not. I don't know if he's been up front as frequently as Matt Gruenberg. Obviously, Gruenberg dominating the season last year, kind of a name you have to watch out for. But to beat Grunberg, who really I don't even think was.
Grunberg didn't lead a lap.
Yeah, I was gonna say he wasn't
Monday
even much
night.
of a factor
I'm
on
looking
Monday.
at it right now. Gable led 37, Finn led 43, and then Tanner, he led 29. Those are your
Tanner,
top three.
Tanner as well. I mean, I won't say that you normally don't see him up front, but he's more of like a hit or miss type guy that you see up front, and he led a good portion of that race. Of course, I passed him on like lap 93. I'm just kidding.
Damn.
But
Nope.
Quick flex.
I have no comment on Tanner Sharp unless you want me to comment on.
you
Tanner
know
Sharp.
what? No. I want you.
Comment.
I want you to go on a rant. I want you.
Before we
to
get
I
into
mean,
that, though,
okay,
I just
hold
want
on.
to say props to Kevin. That was his first win since I'm looking it up now. At 2018 Cup Series, he won at Texas. That was to get him to the next round of the playoffs. But
Shout
that
out.
was over a year for Kevin. That's good for him.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
mean, I gotta bring up Kevin, one of my guys, right? I mean, I am the proprietor of Eisentech Enterprises, so it was outstanding to
Enterprises,
see
damn.
him do that. Like, yeah, Enterprises, dude. We're not single. We span the globe. I mean, not
Holy shit.
actually, but that's hopefully probably not what is
The,
going to happen eventually.
The iRacing globe, you mean?
Dude, no, the whole globe,
Oh my god.
the physical world. But
Wow.
we'll see, right? World domination later. We'll
Yeah.
take care of iRacing for now.
That was
Great job.
Kevin's 10th win, the 70th top 5,
That was
and
Kevin's
his
10th win.
115th top 10 in 3 wide.
Good
Really?
driver, great dude.
His 10th win?
Yeah, he's won 10 wins.
Has he been on Xbox?
No.
No, this is all iRacing.
Really? How do I not
Good
remember
deal.
those wins? All right, I feel really bad. I'm sorry, Kevin. I don't remember
Sorry,
your other
Kevin,
wins.
No,
No,
but
but
thinks you're a loser.
I don't think
Hey,
he's a loser
Paul
at all.
Ross. Paul Ross made sure he didn't win one of those. Hey.
Kevin is one of the few guys that will race you clean and knows when to let people go. I will say that's one thing that I kind of got, or that I still get infuriated about, is when people race you on lap 10. It's like, what's the point? Just let me go. If you're faster later, I'll repay the favor. I don't
Yeah,
get it,
man.
but
Big Kevin Finn fan here.
yeah.
I'm in
Kevin,
love
sign
with Kevin
my
Finn.
Kevin, will you sign my hero card?
Kevin, will you sign my titties?
Oh my god.
Bro.
All right.
That's some Dale Jr. stuff right there.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Sign my baby. All right. All right, Drew, go ahead. Start your rant. What happened at Bristol?
I mean, I'm not going to be
I want
too mean about it.
I want you to go like in depth on your whole race, by the way, not just what
Dude.
happened with Tanner.
Let's do it. Number one, I made my feelings about this track pretty clear last race,
You did.
last podcast, that I don't love the track. It's never been one of my favorites. I appreciate its historical like past and all of this other stuff about it, but I just don't like to drive it very much. I was happy to just be competitive, quite frankly, like not slow, because typically I'm a guy that overdrives the car and on the K&N stuff, it kills your tires, and so I typically don't do great in that car. But I was pretty happy to be competitive at Bristol in practice, definitely in qualifying and in the race. I felt like I could keep the pace. And I like to think that I'm kind of like I mean, this is weird because of what happened at Daytona, but like I'm like a Ryan Newman guy where I'm not fast, but I'm really hard to pass. But I race fairly clean, even though Newman hasn't historically. But you know, not all parallels are complete. But I raced Tanner hard, and then he just decided that was not going to be reciprocated, the hard and clean part, and he just threw me into the wall. Which, you know, I'm one of those guys where I will respect you if you respect me, right? Like I'll give you that respect, but if it's not, you know,
I race you how you race me.
yeah, it's not, if it's a one-way street, then we can change that real quick. And he decided it was a one-way street, and he threw me into the wall. And then I kind of got up like right behind him under caution. You know, I didn't smash him. I didn't do anything crazy. I'm like, hey man, that's not okay. That kind of racing, like, I don't like that. Right? We see each other every week. Let's not do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then he decides to tell me, don't tell me what to think or feel. It drives me crazy. and then he just like, and that's not his fault. He doesn't know that that's one of like my things that like really makes me not like happy. And he told me that I was not allowed to be mad because I apparently cut him off in some fashion. I watched the whole race the next day and I could not find that incident that he was referring to. And so he decided, as you saw, Justin, right? Because you were behind me at that point, probably the only point in the race in which you were behind me, but you were at that point. And he decided to brake check me going onto pit road and cause a ton of cars to behind me to have to brake and, you know, avoid causing wreck under caution. And then I got loose and I smashed the wall and I surfed on top of a car. I think it was Jess. I might be mistaken. I think Jess was involved at least. And then I somehow finished ninth. But that's yeah. Don't tell me what to think or feel. That will make me not a happy individual. That's really all I get. That's the takeaway from that.
Amen.
I'm sorry, that was kind of long.
No,
but
no. I honestly think we should have. We're gonna have to create a name for this. A Drew rant segment every week.
dude, I'm down every week. I got stuff to say. I don't think many people want to hear it, but I'll say it anyway.
Well, the good news is if they don't want to hear it, they can just skip ahead, I guess. It's
Yeah, or they can just not, I don't know. I don't want to tell anyone to not listen because please God listen. But I hope at least you can mock me and find it entertaining. I don't really care. Just listen and
just hear what I have to say, you know?
or don't and just make fun of me. I don't care either way, right? Like this is just how I feel. If you don't agree, that's fine. We're all people.
All right.
As the team manager for Team Blurry, I don't support that. But up 27, right? And he's brake checking you under caution. Why are you doing that? That's so dumb. He did that last year too. I don't have any reason for that. But it's up 27, man. Deep breath. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah. I know I had a few words to say about it too over the all teams. So, I mean, it is what it is, I guess, at this point. But it is kind of childish, especially when you have the whole field behind you. I will say that. Don't bring other people into your anger. If it's just you two, you know, fine, I guess. I still don't condone it, but just don't tear other people's stuff up with your anger.
Hell yeah.
That
Let's
doesn't
get us a Drew Asum and Tanner Sharp rivalry going.
Dude, I'm down.
Bam.
We haven't had a good rivalry in a minute. I'm not afraid to get my ass kicked. I'll start a fight with anybody.
All right. There you have it. Next week, Drew's going to wreck Tanner, and then so on and so forth.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Hell yeah. All right. Let's do some positives and negatives real quick. We can do this one of two ways. We can do it as a conjoined super late model and national, or we can do it separate. However you guys want to do it.
We can do separate. They're pretty different races, to be honest.
All right. We'll do it that way. Corey, we'll start with you.
Yes, sir.
This is the part where we talk about your positives.
Super late model, go.
Yes, sir.
I think that was his comment. Yes, sir, was his comment.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. I don't know what to say to that. All right, Race, you're up.
Yes, sir.
Oh no, Corey lagged out. Okay, that's why.
That's
All
a-
Here's my first negative. Corey's fucking gone.
Whole
He's
thing
gone.
ruined.
We can't bring him back.
Oh, he's back. He's back.
he's back.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Hello.
Hello.
What's
All right.
going on? What's the question?
your positives and negatives from this week.
Positives and negatives from
Super late model race first.
Yeah. Positives, I don't know. We're running the goddamn super late model, and that's good for me. I like that car. I think it's a lot of fun, even if it's not quite what it was when we first raced it. But that's about the only positive I can say from that one. Negatives. Small field, man. We were expecting 20 to 23 cars, and we only had 15. 20 to 23 were eligible to race, which would have been, damn, that would have been good enough for me completely. But 15, that's a little disappointing, and that makes me a little wary of Watkins Glen. That's it. That's all I got. And I'm here this time, sorry.
Fair enough. All right, the Nationals now.
National, positives. Then we still got a lot of people showing up after 5 races into it. I think that's good.
What do we have? 27 people
Um,
there.
yeah, it probably would have been a better race if we had about 5 to 10 people out of it. Um, any more positives? I like Kevin Finn winning it. It's good to have a little bit of a mixed bag, which we've had a pretty good mixed bag so far. Nick is the only 2-time winner this year so far, so that's a positive for sure for the overall well-being of the league. Negatives, not people not that don't understand how to drive the car early with the cold tires. That's a big one. If we get that fixed, we could probably get a decent run and maybe even start thinking about green flag pit stops. Ooh, right?
Ooh,
So, yeah, that's all I got for that one.
good deal. All right, race.
As far as the super late model went, my positive is definitely like the racing was fun and clean. I felt like I traded with everybody, Kevin, you, Matt, everybody. I feel like I raced with several people that night. It was a lot of fun. You could pass on the bottom. You definitely could make the bottom work early, but late high side was king. And as far as negatives for the super late model, yeah, like Corey said, a small field, but at least there wasn't a bunch of wrecks. Everybody kind of stayed in. Like the field kind of stayed the same way. A lot of people on the lead lap. That's really it for the super late model race. Other than that, I had a really good time with that. And then the national race, I mean, my own personal positives. I hate that I got caught in someone else's mess, and then I hate that I was in my own mess. Obviously, all the cautions, because even though I was like 7 laps down, I was still just having fun doing laps. With traffic, it was a shame that there was a bunch of cautions, but I still, even with all the cautions, it was still just as fun as a super late model race. And yeah, I think that's my positives and negatives.
Good deal. All right, Drew.
I mean, I
Oh,
as a
I was-
non-participant of the super late models, I was positive to get Jordan back, Jordan Teal, back in the car in the race that I didn't really want to do. So I was happy. I was gonna run the race if I couldn't find anybody, but luckily he was able to do it. And then yeah, the car looked really fun and competitive. I just didn't want to do that much Bristol in 2 nights in a row. The K&N car was a blast, and it wasn't as racy, but that's that track. But dude, I'm excited for the rest of the A season for that K&N car. It's so much more fun to drive than the cut package that we had last year, and it's so rewarding as a driver to drive that thing and like feel like you are having a say in how fast you are versus did you just like figure out the A car at this track and like where you need to exactly pick up the throttle and everything, which is what I felt like it was last year. So I don't know. I enjoyed driving the track on Monday, which I haven't had since the like high horsepower Gen 6 car.
Absolutely. Yeah. So super late models for me. Positives. The bottom line was the thing, which was really happy about. From my knowledge, I don't think that car was really a handful at all, unless you drove it wrong, like I did, which was the negative, driving it wrong and then losing the handling after 20 laps, whatever it was that last run to the checker. I know that I had passed, I think it was Richard Hines or someone, and I was running fourth, and all of a sudden the handling just went away and was never able to recover. So that wasn't very fun. But the national positives was once you figured it out, I mean, it was good. You could actually drive the car or race the car rather than just drive it. Like everybody said, and we said it before, driving it with the throttle was fun. Negatives, obviously didn't get a lot of long runs, and obviously, well, not obviously, but I guess it was pretty obvious. The bottom line, not a thing at all. So if you wanted to pass someone, you either had to do it under caution on pit road or wreck them. So those were literally your 3 options. So with that, let's do a quick takeaway from both these races. Just something you learned and something you can move on or use on the next track, or something you learned with this car. So Corey, we'll start with you.
Um, I think it's a lot better now to race at Bristol. I mean, it's not perfect, but you get that single pit road lane or whatever they're calling it.
Hmm.
That's definitely a big update, a big improvement. Because before, I think I mentioned this last week. If you pitted on the back stretch, you would oftentimes have to give your position up to the guy that pitted on the front stretch. That happened a few races before this year, and they got that fixed now, so that's one less thing to worry about in Bristol. Um, what was the other part of the question? I'm sorry.
No, just the takeaways from both
Yeah,
races.
that's my takeaway. It's good. Bristol's definitely a little bit closer to being a good track on iRacing.
Good deal. Race.
I mean, my takeaways, I had a lot of fun. I really did. Both cars, but the national car, even though I didn't have as good as a result and it was more difficult to drive and there's so many cautions, it was still more fun to drive. So I'm really excited for that. Really excited for Milwaukee. Need some redemption. Um, Watkins Glen as well. I'm just having a lot of fun. I'll just say it. My takeaway is that even though I haven't had the best results besides Lion Rock, I'm having a lot of fun.
That's the whole point of this, right? It's just to have fun.
Right?
Amen. All right, Drew.
Amen.
It's fun to have fun, man. When you're having fun.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have my takeaway from kind of both is that we have some really good drivers at the top part of the field, right? I think Grunberg and Frankenfield and Delicato. I hope I said it right. I've been working on it.
Good
They
enough for me.
seem really quick, right? Like really, really proper quick. And it's good that kind of one of the guys that's been with the league for a few years now in Kevin Finn was able to kind of get up there and Justin Gable shouldn't leave him out too, right? He did a good job in spite of saying that I dumped him, even though I didn't, but I already went over my part of the race. It was good to see Kevin kind of get up there, and one of the kind of the 3WideRacing guys that kind of joined when I did a few years ago was able to get up there and compete. And dude, that K&N car is just great. It's just a good car, and I'm happy we're running it. And that's my big takeaway.
Well, heck yeah. My so for super late model, my takeaway is gonna be don't drive it wrong, and also I don't know, that car feels more like any input you give it, that's what it's gonna do. Where the national is kind of like you have to ease into it, kind of work at it, rather than the super late models. It's just kind of like you want to go left, all right, we're going left. Where the national is like, well, you kind of have to work with me a little bit to get you to go left. So that's my takeaway for the super late model is that it's a very straightforward driving car, at least to me. And for the national, I'm just glad that Bristol was nice to me again. So
Amen.
yeah. Hell yeah. All right. Why don't we kind of just we had a topic. I think we'll just save it for next week. Mainly because I don't know if we'll have much to talk about with Watkins Glen. We all kind of know how road courses go. They're not. They just kind of happen, and there's never really much to talk about. So, why don't we talk about Watkins Glen next week for the super late model as well as Milwaukee? We'll kind of start with Watkins Glen. Corey, you, me, Matt, who made the setup last night, and the 11 of Ron, I don't remember his last name, and I think Richard Hines was also in there. I don't know if I'm missing anyone.
Ron Haglin.
Haglin, that's what it is. I don't know if I'm missing anyone. All of us participated in a test, and kind of shook the car down last night.
Yep.
I guess we'll start, or we'll talk with you, I guess, because you and me were the only ones in it, and you had more of an input in it. How did that setup feel, and what's it going to feel like come this Sunday?
Yeah, it'll be good. It's on the tighter side. That's just kind of how it worked. I don't know this as a fact, but I feel like iRacing has updated the super late model, so it doesn't really work as well on the road courses as it used to. It's gonna be a lot tighter through the S's. I think a lot of guys are gonna want to, be full throttle, and I don't think that's necessarily gonna be what you can do because it's just going to get too tight and you're going to end up in the wall. So you're going to have to be a little bit more patient than I think what you'd expect it to be. But overall, it's a good setup, and the fast guys will figure it out. So they'll still be up there. That's my take. It should be a good race as far as Watkins Glen or road racing goes with us. It's 45 minutes, and yeah, it's another road course. So yeehaw, right?
Yeah, and that leads me to my next question that I'm going to ask all of you. Anything, well, anything you're looking forward to or anything that you're excited for this race?
Which one?
Watkins Glen. We'll start with Watkins Glen, and then we'll move on to Milwaukee. Corey,
And
we'll start with you.
Supers.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it to be over, man. I shouldn't be that negative, but yeah, man, it's not my thing.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, race.
I'm always excited for any road racing. I didn't do the test, so I don't know what it's like at all. So I'll have to kind of get introduced to it during practice this weekend. But so I don't know what to expect because I didn't test. I expect to have fun. How about that?
That as long as you're having fun,
I haven't had fun yet, but I'm expecting to.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, Drew, are you participating this
Yeah, man,
week?
fair enough.
I will be in. I mean, I like road courses. In spite of my kind of recent track record,
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to. I didn't get it. I had too much going on that day to participate in the test, and I wish I could have because I kind of would have known what to expect. But I think it's probably going to be pretty fun. It's going to be yeah. I mean, Corey's right that there's typically not a lot to talk about because I typically only battle like 2 or 3 guys, right? Because like you don't have enough. Like we don't run these road courses, and kind of justifiably so, like long enough to get a lot of battles. Like by the time, if you're faster than the guy in front of you, if you don't just get him out of the way, like you don't move him, it's like if you race someone respectably, it's going to take a few laps to get by him, and by that time, right, we only run so many laps, and then you're trying to catch the next guy. But Watkins Glen's, it's fun. I don't know if I've ever done the super late model there. I know, no, we have. We did it in 3 Rock a while back, but we did the boot that time. So we'll see how it is without the boot. And yeah, I think it's just going to be fun, man. It's a good track. It's a good car, and I'm looking forward to it.
There you go. I don't know. I didn't do 3 Rock at Watkins Glen. At least I don't remember it. So we'll have to see for the people who did do it. Cord just left again. If they realize or if they recognize any differences between changes within the super late model then and now. So that should be interesting. I will say that when I drove the car, I was looking through Hosted actually last night and saw it and was like, all right, whatever. So I hopped in. It was pretty tight, so it will be a little bit of a handful to drive. But from what Matt was saying, there really wasn't much you could change to really help that. So I know that he did the best he could. I don't know. I wasn't there for the final changes, if there were any, to the setup. But overall, I think it should be fun. And, I mean, you know how road courses go. So you can only have as much fun as you can make, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's drive the track first, drive your opponent 2nd, and if you're quicker, you can get by them.
That is one thing that race taught me a few years ago, is you race the track, not yourself. So
But yeah, hit your marks, and then whatever happens will happen. If you got to defend right, then things change. But just focus on your braking points, your turn-in markers, etc., and then once you figure that stuff out, it's a ton of fun, and then you can worry about the other car.
Indeed. All right. Well, for our final topic here, we'll look forward to Milwaukee. Corey, what are your expectations for Milwaukee, and what are you looking forward to?
For myself, a win, but realistically for the race, if we get under 4 cautions and a hell of a finish, I'll be happy.
Good deal. I like it. Race.
As long as I don't get dumped in the last lap. Actually, as long as I don't get dumped, period. I would just like to have a good finish because Bristol. I mean, I think I ended up like 15th, which is it's just not good. So I want to do better at Milwaukee. And then I want to have some fun. All right, I want to have fun, but I also want to do good.
Good deal. Drew, what are you looking forward to on the other side of that? I won't say argument, but on the other side of that.
I look forward to there being a hole and me going for it. No, I think I've always had a blast in Milwaukee. It's dude, like kind of what I liked about Bristol and in rotating the car with the throttle. I hope we can expect more of that at Milwaukee. And it's always one of those kind of classic tracks that always gets overlooked. That isn't the sexy thing, right? It's not Bristol, it's not Martinsville, but it does. It's very rewarding as a driver to be able to kind of figure that car and setup and track combination out and excel at it, because it's happened before for me, and so I kind of know what that feels like, and hopefully that can happen again, and we can provide a really good race. But dude, just these kind of old school tracks, they're just they're so fun as a driver, and I'm looking forward to driving that car at that track. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Good deal. Well, I know that probably a few months ago when the new tire model came out, may have been actually I think it was like a week. No, never mind. It wasn't a week before the damaged model came out, but it was during the new tire model. There was a national race. They were at Milwaukee for the week, and I remember just as long as you don't burn the tires off it getting loose and stuff like that, you should be pretty set. So hoping that you can keep the car under me this time and end up with something. I think other than Daytona, I finished 4th at all oval races, so hoping to keep that streak alive. All right, well, I guess that's enough talking for one night. We're looking forward to Milwaukee. Well, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think most of us are looking forward to Watkins Glen and Milwaukee. I know Corey is just ready to get Watkins Glen over with, but
Hell yeah, man. Let's move on to Monday to Milwaukee.
dude, fuck New York, am I right?
Yeah, dude. The hell with that, dude.
I'm just kidding. I love New York. All right, anyways.
I don't.
Oh.
Hey, just a side note, fuck New York.
We're gonna end it at that. All right. Well, that's gonna do it for us. We look forward to Watkins Glen, Milwaukee, and we look forward to talking about it again next week. So for Corey, Race, and Drew, I'm Justin. Thanks for listening to 3 Wide After Dark. We'll see you after Watkins Glen and Milwaukee.
Stay safe, everybody.